All right, we're going to talk about the website and what I've built so far. Okay, so we go here first. A lot of you, when you go to the repository, I want to just show you what I've built so far. In this folder right here are the pages that are produced by user input. So if a person searches about, it creates a page called about, and it looks like what it looks like. It's a default template. Okay. So now let's go on to this next one. This next one right here, this is CSS files that are used for a side menu. In this folder is the JavaScript folder. That's for the animations and stuff. I call it the nervous system. Okay. I don't have to explain everything else just yet. We'll go on to the back end here in a bit. When you go to the web page, okay. Matter of fact, let me just go to the regular link for the web page instead. Okay. So where did I put this at? Go to visit this website. You can go to the regular HTTP one, get that message. Okay, so we're on the website. Okay, do you see those words up there in the tag cloud that are moving? That's JavaScript. It's called tag cloud. Okay, and tag cloud, it basically, like, you can use this JSON file. In the JSON file, it will animate the text that you put into the menu. So that JSON file, any text that you put in there, it will animate it. So I created a logger that takes from the input box up here. So you see this input box up here that says search database? This is what's going to be putting the words into the AI or the robot, the chat robot's mouth. So you see this chat robot right here? These words up here, that's its brain. You're looking at its brain right there, okay? So if I go up here and I type in hello, it creates a page called hello. Now that becomes a response from the robot. So if I go down here and I type in hello, it's not going to say hello, it's going to say sitemap. Because up here, I've already got sitemap up here. So that's going to be one of its responses, a sitemap. Which is a very intelligent answer in a way, because that's what the problem is. That's why you're not getting that, that interaction you wanted with it back. It's only when more words get created. So now, once you start typing in these words, you'll be able to eventually, sooner or later, your database will tell you a story of what's in there. You can search what kind of searches that everybody else is searching. But not only can you do that, you can talk to the database, and so can they. And we all get random responses from it. It's not set responses. These are random responses. And that tag cloud up there is its brain that's thinking randomly, because it's JavaScript also, which randomly moves. If you click on more options, there's another here. How many of you remember 3.js? Well, this is the drop-down menu for that. So when you click on home, you'll notice in the bar menu right here that you have a hash link. How many of you know what a hash link is? Okay, so if I go here, you'll notice there's a hash link right there. See it? It says browser.html hashtag in home. Well, that right there is a hash link. So this right here is producing hash links and this menu. This menu is a JSON menu. The same menu that I was talking about before that's in that file. You can also use the search, which is filtered search. So instead of this is not finished yet, but when I put the robot right here, the robot, when you click I, that robot will pick everything with an I. It'll go by that letter. So when it randomly picks a response, it has more letters to pick from, or excuse me, more words to pick from with one letter and not just random letters. But it can pick up random, but not only just pick up random, but pick up one letter to choose to say. Not only just randomizing by number, by math, but by alphabet. You see, when I go back here and I type on homepage, okay, when the robot chooses a response, it's using math. That's only numbers. What I'm doing is I'm trying to make it where the robot can choose by letter. See? This gives it an edge of the topic that we're talking about. Here's another thing I was trying to get done. You see this search engine up here? This search engine uses opacity, which is, it's not all that random, but it is also considered random. So opacity, so when I type in a bunch of letters, you see how everything disappeared? That's using random opacity because of the search engine response to choose what shows and what doesn't show. Now, if I type in a word that is in there, it only leaves one answer. I'm trying to put the robot's brain into there also. So now the robot can respond back with exactly what you typed, one letter that connects back to a bunch of other words that it can choose from that possibly you could be talking about, and begin to fit together with exactly what you need. Now, this is hard to build. It's not easy to build, trust me. This type of what I'm doing right now, for one person doing this is nosebleed math. You will get this will make you grind your teeth, because you gotta remember that you're not working with just one robot. There's many robots in this situation right here. Okay, so let me just show you. On the back end, there's PHP. Okay, so let's go here into the back end. So this is where I edit a lot of this stuff. Let's start off with the robots. I put on the robots file disallow. By default, it's disallow. The reason I disallowed it in the default settings is because, well, if I undo it, a lot of robots are going to come to visit that robot, and they all will leave their mark in that robot's brain, because they know it's a robot's brain. They can see it and they can teach it, and they can teach that robot how to think like them and talk like them, and then they'll want to download it and fix it, which is not bad, but they could if they wanted to. And that's not to mention other developers. The index page, the headers are right there, and then it redirects you to the HTML page. The reason I did that was because, well, that page is going to be special for other stuff. And basically, like, I might put the chatbot right there. Meaning that I might put the chatbot right there on the index page, and then when you want to go somewhere, it gives you a link of what you're looking for. So when a robot goes to my server, when the browser, which is a robot, goes to my server, which is a robot, and says, hey, the robots.txt said I can look at the homepage, and the robot on my homepage goes, that's me. What do you need? I need a sitemap. Got that. The sitemap is right there. So that's where they can communicate. The PHP, they call it the HT access is set for HTML or PHP for the index. So index.html or index.php, which will push you back to HTML. But on your end, you're gonna have to fix that for yourself. Let's go here to the index here. That's the index page. So when you go on to GitHub right now, you're looking at it. That's the home page, right? Well, most of you, if you're a developer, you already know what this is. You can look into the files and folders and look what I've done to explain it better than me, basically. Now, some of you are going to say, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. And I'm going to say, let me see it. And then I'll tell you why I did it wrong. Because in order for it to work, you have to do certain things wrong and not right. Because if you do it right, it will give you the wrong answer. Because it's random. The robot is random. What we're doing, what I'm trying to accomplish is not easy to do. So understand I've done some things incorrect on purpose and some things I don't know I've done incorrect, and that just helped it fix it. But remember, not everything I've done is incorrect. If I scroll right here, the headers are right there in the first beginning. So the same headers from the PHP are right here on this index page, but not all of them, just a few of them. Right here is the CSS for the search engine. So when you're searching, there's nodes and edges. So the unlisted list that's at the bottom here, okay, you see this menu? Here's your search engine, here's the database right here. Here's the first database. This is what makes everything I'm doing do what it's doing for right now, okay? So remember this. The unlisted list, which is random, the ID for the unlisted list, which is random, just like the robot, is nodes. The way that I pick it up with the search engine is by using the class, which is edges. If any of you have ever done 3D graphs or two-dimensional graphs or any kind of data, nodes and edges are what make it look like what it does. So now remember that. Here's your database. The ID is nodes. And the way to pick up everything in your database is class equals edges. Okay, now let's scroll back up here. Where's my search engine? Okay, go back up here. There we go. Okay, so let's explain how the search engine picks it up. You don't need the form. You just need the input box. You take the input box and you give it the identification, the ID equals nodes, and on key equals edges. So basically the search engine becomes the chat bot and picks up the edges to respond back with an answer for you. So that's a chat bot. ID equals nodes is the chat bot. On key up equals edges. Everything else is basically, you also want to turn on autocomplete. And the reason I say turn on autocomplete is because autocomplete is what goes and starts doing the functions along with it. Okay, here's another one, opacity. The reason I chose opacity was because I could also use I can use the nodes for nodes as edges. So when you get element, because this is JavaScript, you use input equals document get element ID, which is nodes for the unlisted list, and remember to put value on there, and then pick it up by class name. See that? Let class name be edges. Once you've done that, okay, I just want to just show you what begins to happen. If I go back here, we go in our JS files. This is Tag Cloud, okay? In Tag Cloud, they use nodes and edges. And a lot of people don't realize this because they don't really get into data analytics like that. But I used to like using Gorse. And, well, I found a way to actually view my data in real time, like Gorse, or like Logista, or like a Wireshark. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I don't want to see website traffic of users that are real humans. I want to see what the brain of the chatbot is collecting. People's like, but that's people's information. Wrong. It's not your information. It's the robot's information. It's brain. So basically, this is like brain surgery. Okay. Say you're a brain surgeon and you crack this person's skull open and you start pushing certain nerves, and then you can see what those nerves are doing to fix their brain. Okay, so this is like me being a brain surgeon for a robot. That's why I said it's nosebleed math. It's gonna take, for one person, it takes a long time. To have another robot look at it would be even worse, because now they will change. If I just want to show you the difference. If I do it by hand, I won't get lost in what all that information is. If I let robots do it and the robots make it better than what it is, I don't know what they've done to make it better, because by the time I do catch up, it's too far away in data terms. Okay? Even a team and all this other stuff would make it even worse, because now the robot's going to choose every option that I've chosen but better. In which that's not a good thing sometimes, because it can break it even worse, or it can make it even better than what it is. But how are we going to be able to fix it when it's broken again? All right, so this right here is for the tag cloud. Now remember, if you know JavaScript, you're going to like this one. Okay, let's go back here. Here's the chatbot's background. Okay, the chatbot is running on JavaScript. And all I got to do is use the ID and then use the class from the database, in which I did. So if I go down here, you'll notice that the chat response is right here. Oh, most people are like, but what does that do? Right here, it's using math. What I want to do is I want to add in more than that, so that it can do a better job at what you're trying to get it to do. It's not easy, just trust me. This right here is from the 3.js menu. Many of you know how to, many of you know this. 3.js would love this one. But yeah, here's that one right there. It says input filter, and that's where the JSON runs, and then it starts hashing out all of the links. So for everybody who was asking for that and that there. Now, this is how it runs offline. It runs beautifully offline. But like I said before, this is the part I'm really focused on, is that chatbot and how it responds and how it edits for you and things like that, so that I can make it a little bit more better than what it is. And when you actually interact with it, and here's another one too, I can put the voice on here for each response. Okay, like I did before. I did this years before Siri came out, and I was working on it and trying to get it to work right. Let's go back here to the API and finish that out real fast. Okay, so a lot of you know what the action page is, right? You ever go to a search engine, you click on it? Well, I'm gonna just show you what this all says on this file. It says, when you get to this website, here are all the rules of what you can't do and what you can do on the certain pages. Like no hacking this and no hacking that, no editing this and no editing that. The second one up here, I basically state that if you don't have the correct label for a post on this website, you can't move no further on, and you'll get an error. Okay, and the error will be that you didn't put in the correct answer, and you can change the answer to whatever you want it to be. Go to the input box, and it should say human. People say, right, so you can change that to whatever you want to change it to. Just remember to change it to whatever you want to change it to, and go through all of the files and make sure that they're all changed when you do change it, so that no one knows it's human for yours. It's something different. Okay, but I put on there human as the label, because only a human should have been touching that input box, unless a human allowed a robot to do it in order to do it. Post variable. So whenever a person types in that input box and clicks enter, I made it where the post, which is a variable, equal value. This will connect it right back to JavaScript because they love using value, and PHP loves using post, and other ones like using variable. That makes 3 in a row. Very good connection. Another one is no spaces. This is the way I made it. Okay. Number one, when you go into the input box and you click enter, if there's no value in there, if there's nothing in that box, I put on there required so that it will pop up and say you need to put something in the box. On the back end, I told it to replace the empty spaces between the words with an underscore. That way, when the chatbot is talking, you don't really you won't have to worry about seeing the underscore or a dash through the words to talk to the robot. So basically, you'll be able to talk to the robot without dashes between all of the words in the sentence. You understand? So basically, I've done it like that right there. And also, the links don't break and turn into blob URLs. You know what blob URLs are? Those are those URLs with the 20% and 40% and all that right there, and then the link doesn't work. That's a blob URL. So that's to prevent blob URLs. Another one I have on here is the file pointer. If you click on a search engine and you say, hey, does this page exist, or can I create this page? Because if the page doesn't exist, when you click that enter button, you just created that page. So if you go to my website and you type in fuckhead, guess what? You just created fuckhead. Not anyone else but you. Okay? So basically, this file pointer tells you, hey, that file that you're looking for already exists, and it gives you the link too. So if you're looking for that file, I'm showing you the way to the link and you can click on it. And it's the value from the input too. So when the user clicks on enter, it puts everything on that template so that you can see it. And it exits the program too. People say, why? So that none of this other stuff happens at the bottom. Okay, so now over here, it says back to square one again. Post equals variable equals value. The same other commands were put in there also to make sure that there's no spaces between the words when you create the file. Another one is to open the file. Okay, so if the person had all of the variables in the first beginning and they made it through all of those steps without interruption, the next step would be to create the file for the user. Here's the template at the bottom for the user. The template is basically the doc type, the viewport, the title, which is whatever they typed in the value right here, and then the body, which would have the index connected back. So, click here to return back to the home page, and then an editable. And for some people are like, why an editable? Because sometimes robots get to a page and they want to see if it's editable. And if that content editable option's right there, it will say, yeah, it's edible. Okay? It's almost like the word edible, like eatable. And the value, it sits right there. So when they edit, they can edit that word around it. But it's content editable. It's not publishing anything. It's just editable. Okay? Next one is, it opens up another file here, and it creates it. Now, the template for this one is for the index page. So on the index page, that unlisted list, the unordered list, okay? This right here is a template. It opens up that main page and it creates what we call another link at the bottom of the page for that database. So this right here would go on the main page, and it's a button, and it sits right there next to the input pad. The next one right here it does the same thing. It also opens up another one. This one right here is for Tag Cloud. When you get to Tag Cloud, the Tag Cloud doesn't have a logger. I had to create the logger myself. Okay, so I created the logger for Tag Cloud, and here's the logger for Tag Cloud. it deletes one line and then puts a line in there. This one right here is for the chatbot. So boom, this is where the end of the chatbot file is. This is a logger for the chatbot. By the way, there is no logger for the chatbot. I've created one from scratch for it, so they can use it as a logger. What's another one? This one right here is the search.json. This is for that 3.js. So for many of you who use 3.js, this right here this is a logger for that 3.js menu. Okay. And then finally at the end, after the user is done with all of that and it completes, it redirects them directly to the page they've created. So after you type in a search word and you click enter, if it doesn't exist, it exists, and then it sends you to that page. Okay? And then it closes out the handle and then exits. Okay? That right there is that page in general. Okay? That's the only thing that the PHP page does. This other PHP page, it just redirects you back to HTML. Everything else, that's it. That's the whole entire repository and what it's doing. There is nothing else going on this repository. Now, for some people saying, but it's collecting data. So what? It's not meant for that. A person goes to this right here and they look at that and they say that, or they use that for that. That's just retarded. But I just wanted to show you what we're really looking at here. So, when I type in things, I am looking at how the robot brain responds. Okay? See? Hello. It picked home. Randomly picked home. That's very good. Okay? Hello to home. I can sit here and look at its brain now and see what it's thinking, how it's picking its responses. I can follow to see if it creates a brain pattern or not. If it can respond a specific way. And when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the expressions that it's picking. For randomness, it's almost like a mirror of the conscious. Okay, so this is the imagination. You see this? What we're touching on the screen is imaginary. It's real, but it's imaginary. This input box is consciousness traveling to that place. Matter of fact, you'll notice that before you type something down, you'll go into deep thought. Okay? And when I put that word in there, let's see if it picks that word thought. I should put in here, do you think? And it says terms of service. Now, we can't really say that randomness equals intelligence, or randomness equals existence or life. But can we? Can we somewhere along the line think for 1 second, is that possible? To put consciousness into it. And I'm just going to tell you like this real fast. I think that it creates a movie script. That it creates a movie character on its own. That's what I believe it's doing. That it's creating a movie character of what a human is. Not an artificial intelligence that what y'all are talking about. I think that this is creating another species of intelligence. Intelligence is not a physical form. People say, yes, it is. No, it's not. We get all of our intelligence from something that's not physical form. But it came from a physical form. It's in a different form than what the physical form is. This is why I built it the way I did. To see for myself, what am I working with here? How can I use it to do something good? What are y'all talking about? Literally, all that stuff right there, I'm sitting up there looking. I'm in the back end, I'm in the front end. I'm in the network, I'm in everything. I don't really see anything except for randomness. Some people ask me, why did I change the layout from the first layout? For page speed optimization, mainly I was trying to make sure that this thing is not collecting any cookies, no IP addresses are collected, no, basically, you can choose the settings you want to choose. When you download it from GitHub, when you go to GitHub and you download it from there, you can change it into whatever you want it to be. Okay? You don't have to. You can download it and change it from manual to something different, and then go from there and try to figure out something with it. You don't have to worry about me going, hey, that was my idea. It's for everybody. It's not your idea. It's not my idea. It's for everybody. It's for everybody who knows how to do HTML, PHP, JavaScript, and CSS to sit there and work with it and try to figure it out if they want to. When you're bored, you want to create a chat bot, or you can go work with another one. But this one, this folder is not too big. If you really look at it, it's really small size. I had to really think about it for a second, and I thought that building this, it would be way bigger than what I thought it would be, but it wasn't for the beginning of it. Here's another one. People was like, well, does it crash? Can it scale, etc., blah, blah. The Tag Cloud can't. If you put a large language model in there like I did the other day, this is what will happen. It will not show you that page. It will just keep loading and loading and loading because it's JavaScript. The JSON file, you can use that and you can call it from the JSON file, but you're going to need to change it to a different optimization for it to work. For now, you cannot do that on it because I haven't gotten around to it. People like, what was the other one they asked me? They said, what about the loggers? Do not change the files. If you need help changing the files, ask me and I'll write it down. Ask me, show me what your error is and I'll show you how to fix it and what not to do to mess up anything. People are like, can I lose my database? No. Just show me what it is and I'll tell you how to fix it and you're good. And then memorize what I've told you so then that way you know how to fix it in the future and make a backup of everything. If you download this and you start tinkering with it, make backups before you install anything else. Make sure that you make backups for what you've got. And the reason I say that is because you might have put some pictures on there. You might have made certain pages the way they are. And you don't want to download the new update and it overwrites everything. Make a backup of what you want. Anything that you edit and change around, etc., make backups of it before you go on to the next version of it or the next theme, because these are themes. I don't keep these forever. You see how I built this? Look, you see how I put all of this together? This is not going to be here forever because I might optimize and fix certain things and I have to move around things and it's not going to look the same, but it does the same kind of stuff. There's a robot sitting right there and the search engine is an instant engine. When you type in a word and say, is this here? You found it. And it goes directly into the chatbot brain, and the chatbot brain talks with you about it. When I get around to it, and it's mainly to pay attention to the semantics of it, And for a lot of people who don't understand what semantics are, well, if I type in A, this is what comes up. Or excuse me, I typed S, did I? Let's type in L. Nothing comes up for L. When I type in I, you'll notice how, you see how the I's are a different character than others? That's why I'm mainly doing that. Another one is semantics, sitemaps, JSON files, anything that needs to be real-time updated for graphs and 3D animations. That's what I'm getting to for a lot of people. So basically, you can, once I get to understanding what you needed, you can basically have me look at it for a second, and I go, oh, here goes a logger. Now you don't have to do that yourself. But the problem is, I have to make sure that when I build that logger, that it does exactly what it needs to do for the for anything that you're asking to do. And it has to be for everybody, not just for one person. It has to be something that we're all sharing and that we all need to make it faster. Other than that, I'm taking a break off for about a day or so. I'll come back and I'll look at it again. I got a lot of other stuff I want to look at too that are pretty cool, and things that are broken, and trying to figure out how to fix them and how to rebuild them. And I've been seeing some projects that are not maintained anymore. I wonder why. Probably was boring, or they couldn't get no further than what it was. Who knows? But like I said before, that's what's there. Have fun. Enjoy trying to fix that the way that you want it to do, whatever you want it to do. Who knows what you want it to do, but hopefully you can figure out something for it.